and plenty of music, plenty of rejoicing going on, and merriment, you see. But the other people, they thought that their business needed more attention than coming to the master and everyone coming together and enjoying the banquet. Now, folks, I talking to you, and can I tell you that I am not sure what I'm going to say from moment to moment, and I wasn't even sure what I was going to say at this precise moment. So I had a lot to say a few hours ago, but then as I sat down here and the difference of the surroundings, the home surroundings, I found I had to really think. But hey, something is flowing through, so let's go with it. Let's go with it. And why I stopped is because I want to be neutral to the European referendum and the debate that was going on. And I want the word of the Lord, the voice of the Lord, to come through and to speak. Okay? So I've been in some prayers here, and let's see where this story is taking us. Okay? So we're talking about the parable of the great banquet. So, again, because I've interrupted myself, when one of these at the table with him heard this, he said to Jesus, "Blessed is the man who will eat the feast in the kingdom of God." Okay, so now we are talking about the kingdom of God here. And blessed is the man who will eat the feast in the kingdom of God. Jesus replied, "A certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests. At the time of the banquet, he sent his servant to tell those who had been invited, 'Come, for everything is now ready.' But they all alike began to make excuses. The first said, 'I have just bought a field. I must go and see it. Please excuse me.' And another said, 'I have just bought the yoke of oxen. I'm on my way to try them out. Please excuse me.' Still another said, 'I have just got married, so I can't come. Okay, and then the servant came back and reported to the master. So I've already given you the gist of the story. So those who were invited had something else to do, and now the servant had to go to those who were at a disadvantage to invite them, and he had to go yet further afield. So let's see, who did he invite? He invited the poor, the cripple, the blind, and the lame. Okay, and then he had to go again, and he had to the roads and the country lines and make them come in, so that my house will be full. The Lord's house will be full. I tell you, not one of these men who were invited will get a taste of my banquet. And Jesus is comparing this to the kingdom of God. Okay? And blessed is the man who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God. And now I'm going to give my interpretation, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So, as I said, I'm Joycelyn Linton, and I'm registered as coming into the higher calling. And I claim to carry a message from the Lord, and it's a message above all the other messages that's out there or that I've heard. And the message is that we are coming into a higher consciousness. That was the original title of the message, but today I realize that people are not in the understanding of consciousness. So we are coming into a higher calling, a higher awareness of the nature of God. And this is the next step of the human evolution. And yes, we are going through stages of evolution. And this next step is that we are becoming spiritual beings. So it's a circular event where we're coming back to the truth of who we are. We are really, or originally, spiritual beings. And we live in this physical body. The heavens are calling, has been scheduled for our return. And in this return into the spiritual realm, or into the spiritual existence, we become more advanced in ourselves, and we carry greater strengths of dwelling in the heavens. Because as Jesus said in the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy shall be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, so that was a prophecy from Jesus saying, the Son of Man, saying that as it is in heaven, so it shall be on earth. Okay, and can I tell you that that prophecy is about to be fulfilled? That the kingdom of God is fast advancing upon the earth, and it's not that far away. I'm telling you, it's even upon the pathway leading up to our doorway, Jerusalem, the gates of Jerusalem. But like Jesus is saying, blessed is the man who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God. And eat means knowledge. Yeah. So blessed is the man who has the knowledge of the preparation of the kingdom of God. Who has the knowledge and is in the preparation of the kingdom of God. And so, folk, I am here to prepare you and to inform you or tell you that the kingdom of God is coming, will soon be upon the earth. But we can't just go in our earthly bodies, because that has already been condemned, falls short of the glory of God, and it's a sinful body, it's in the flesh. So we have to be in a preparation of a heavenly body. See, we have to be in the preparation of a heavenly body. So Jesus gives an example by saying that, when the invitation is just gone out to the people who you'd think be ready to come into the kingdom of heaven, they don't realize the value and they're busy. Yes. So he says, the master says, well, those who are lacking, they can be fulfilled with the goodness of the banquet. They need knowledge. Okay. So they come with the crippled, they won't be crippled anymore. Come with the blind, they won't be blind anymore. And come with the lame, they will walk, he's saying. They will be fulfilled. And the word in due season is that we are in a mode of receiving. Okay, we have to be releasing to receive. So these first people who had the invite, they did not want to receive, nor did they want to release, because one has to give for the other. In other words, they had something else to do that they did not want to give up in order to receive the delight of coming to the banquet that the master was withholding. They were too busy that they could not see the value and the delight of coming together. I mean, they are working every day. The married man, he's married now. He'll always see his married wife. The one who was attending, the one who has been attending, he says, the first said, I have just bought a field and I must go and see. Well, if he's just bought a field, he'll be seeing the field every day. The one who has a yoke of oxen, I have just bought 5 yoke of oxen and I'm on my way to try them out. Please excuse me. Well, he can do that the following day, but the banquet is a one-time event, so to speak. So why not come together and everybody eat, drink, and be merry? Okay? Instead of each has their own thing to do and miss out on a great gathering. And who knows what could happen when they come together, because, they'll start to exchange talks among one another. They'll grow in knowledge of one another. They'll probably even form some good friendship with each other. Then we don't know what the master may lay out for them. He may lay out some good entertainment that might just spark their creativity and bring them so much joy and laughter that they forget their troubles, and can I tell you, it initiates the healing balm in them, so they come into a healing and a much greater delight. then, he may give them some very good gifts that they might treasure and take home with them and really treasure. So that coming together, that one time coming together, the joy, the laughter, the eating, the exchange of fellowshipping with one another, the dancing and all, it's highly stimulative. It's a highly stimulative event. And the married man could have taken his wife with him. The other oxen, he could have tied the oxen and had the hours in the banquet. And the same with the one who had to go and attend his field. Well, hey, the field isn't going to go anywhere. So they just did not have a sense of arrival. They didn't have a sense of priority, or they didn't know really where their true value lied, because there was no real profit in looking after the land. Yes, ultimately, but for them in themselves, okay, and I'm going to talk about the house. For them in themselves, there's no joy in that. There's no joy in going to looking after the land. The land is something where you have to cultivate it, then you have to sow your seeds, that you have to ensure that there's good water, good drainage of the water, and that the soil is in a good condition for growing, for sowing seeds. And then you have to wait for the crop to harvest and gather the harvest, and then you'll get some benefits. So it's a long process. It all depends too on the weather, on the climate for that season. Yeah. So so they had their mind bogged down on work, on mundane work. And can I tell you that this mundane work wasn't really fulfilling them and putting any inner joy in them. You see, but had they come to the banquet, there's going to be an inner joy, an inner fulfillment. You see, and that's where the true emblem of life lies, in the inner joy and delight, and the fellowshipping, coming together. And can I tell you, within ourselves, we have so many gifting, so many skills, so many talents yet to be found. They're like little hidden gem. They're like little hidden gem. And, coming together and exchanging, we may find that, hey, you know what, in a conversation, I can do this, and I usually like to do such and such and such. And then another says, well, I'm looking for somebody to do such and such. Would you help me out? And he goes, oh, okay. So next thing you know, they've linked up, they're linked in, and they've got a job for each other. But what I'm saying is, they've explored one another, and now they want to pull out that creativity and begin to milk it, or begin to develop it, plant it, develop it. You see? So in this coming together and this exploration of the inner self, now they're finding true delight and true growth, and they will be heavenly blessed. You see? So they've missed out on it. So now Jesus says, go and call the crippled, the blind, and the lame. All right? The cripple is somebody, well, let me see, because we've got the lame, and the lame means somebody who just cannot walk at all compared to the cripple. And the blind is somebody who cannot see. So the cripple must be able to walk, but not walk upright. He's kind of walking with real difficulty and crutches. But I thought the crippled and the lame was the same. But hey, okay, it says the crippled and the blind and the lame. So these people were in deficiency. They were lacking. Okay? They were lacking. And I think this is what Jesus is saying, that when we come when the kingdom of God comes, we have to be ready to receive. But as we receive, we have to release. We cannot hold on to the everyday chores. We can't, otherwise we're going to miss the best part of the banquet. Yeah? We've got to release some things and be ready to receive. Receive from the kingdom of God. And now we come into our heavenly attires. You see?